Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Real CFO podcast. I'm excited today to be joined by Jeramiah Solven. Jeremiah, former Army Ranger, founder and CEO of Conquer Academy, mindset, discipline, everything that we need in our lives, whether it be from the CFO world, the relationship world, the marriage world, whatever it might be. It's something that we need. So I'm excited to have him on. Welcome, Jeremiah.
Chad, thanks for having me, man. Guys, looking forward to providing some value for you, help level you guys up in any way that I can.
Yeah, man. So the first thing people are going to look at your bio and say, why are you on a Real CFO podcast? And yeah, that's a great question. Well, for me, as I was explaining before the call, the Real CFO podcast isn't about us being like the smartest CFOs in the room, the everything CFO. It's about knowing what CFO services are and being able to lend those services to small businesses, show them how to do it, because ultimately they're the real CEO, they're the real CFO of their business, and an integral part of any of that is leadership, right, and discipline, and that's where this fits in so well with what you do. So, can you tell everybody what is it that you do, and what's your primary focus?
Yeah, I'll start off with this. Is like one of the best skills that the military gave me was teaching me how to run a company. And when I think about the work that you're doing, Chad, I think about myself as an infantry officer. You know, I had a company to run, and when I was an infantry officer, I knew pretty much everybody's job. And I think that's really what you're doing. You know, you're equipping the CEO so that he has the skills and he has the knowledge to be able to like take that company forward. So, you know, today, I guess what I'm really doing today is I'm helping like the 7-figure, 6-figure hustlers turn into CEOs, like peak guys that can really actually run companies. And I'm helping them change themselves and get everybody on the team in alignment so that the whole company can achieve the objective. I'm doing a lot of that. I started off in the military in 2005 and everybody was in charge of me. And then I left the military in 2020 as an infantry commander. I had 130 soldiers underneath my leadership, and I did 4 deployments, 3 to Afghanistan, 1 to Iraq. And then one of the highlights of my career was serving in special operations in the 75th Ranger Regiment. So that was a very competitive, unique assignment where we went overseas and we did high value target raids against guys that the president had visibility of. So I did that for the military, and then I got out and I started coaching in the evenings while I was on active duty. I started doing a lot of high performance coaching, helping people achieve their goals, and then ran 100 miles in the Colorado Rockies and decided it was time for me to get out of the military and go full time in my business.
So you're one of those 100-milers, huh?
I did one, and it's like I don't know if it's a one and done thing for me, but I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about discipline, mental toughness. But I say I died on that mountain. You know, I really did. I went out there underprepared. I actually signed up on a Sunday, and I went out and did the race on a Saturday. So 6 days later, without training for it. And
Love it, man.
Oh man, it was brutal. And
You're feeding me right now, because here's the thing. About 3, 4, 5 days ago, because I'm, you know, we all go through these peaks and valleys of discipline, focus, you know, some seasons you got to live more over here. Other seasons you got to live over there, but balance is in principle, it sounds good, but in reality it's somewhat difficult.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm a little off track when it comes to my fitness. Injury, busy, whatever. We can make all excuses we want. I just told my wife the other day, I said, I'm going to sign up for a triathlon. It's a sprint, but it's an off-road triathlon in Branson, September 13th. Do you want to go down with me? And to get uncomfortable, but 100 miles, man. And
I'll tell you, that's such a great move for you as an entrepreneur and anybody listening, guys. If you want your business to go up, take your fitness up. I've worked with hundreds of professionals, entrepreneurs, high achievers, and I will tell you, every time they take their fitness to the next level, everything else in their life goes up to the next level. I have a CEO right now that closed out last year at around $7.5 million in top line revenue. And this year we're on track to double that, 15, 16 million. And we're 6 months into the year. And the way that started, the way that she's on track to double her revenue, is that she started taking herself more seriously. She started being more disciplined as an individual.
Yeah. No, I can attest, man. I'm generally pretty good, but we all go through slumps, and you need something to kind of trigger that. And it's taking massive action. I think I told my wife last night, I said, I need to get back in shape. I've let things slide. I'm still in decent shape. I haven't let it slide completely, but
that's the dangerous story though, too, at the same time.
Yeah, it becomes easier to let it slide more and more and more. Yeah. And I said, I'm an all in type of guy, and I'm half in right now. And the other half is consuming, and it's not so good. But anyway, it's very important, because I can attest, when I was dialed in, and it's all about how you feel, how you perceive yourself, those sorts of things. And that routine that it takes, that commitment that it takes, and you get that bug, it's almost second nature to go to the gym, to run, to do this. But then you're so focused and dialed in to everything else. And it's amazing.
Absolutely. Another symptom, a side effect of taking your fitness and prioritizing it, is that it teaches, you can attest to this in finance, right? Like how many business owners, how many entrepreneurs that are out there, small business owners, ignore their finances, right? But when you decide, when you ignore your fitness and then you decide to tackle it head on, you're saying that you're no longer going to ignore any problem in your life, that you're going to confront it head on. And so it has this domino effect, right? Absolutely. When you start confronting your resistance in life, I'm big on that.
No, it's huge. I'm glad you tied it to finance or whatever. It's really where your focus flows, your energy goes. I think that's the saying. I think it came from Tony Robbins or one of those guys. But where your focus flows, your energy goes. And you're 100% right. So you get dialed into fitness. Now you're prioritizing, because you got to make commitments to get that in. You start getting dialed into date nights, right? So you're spending time with your wife, your spouse, building that relationship. It's not just show up at home and do your thing and every single day. You have something to look forward to, commitments that you have to make each week. Same thing with your finances. If you want to be kind of you don't have to do the work, but know what your finances are. You need to know what your finances are. And sometimes you need that guidance, that coach, just like you in the fitness and leadership space, to meet with you monthly, to make it relevant, to be intentional about putting it in front of you, and then putting things that we need to do in place and executing on before the next meeting. Budgeting, forecasting. I tell you what, one of the best things you can do, and I've seen it 100 times, for business owners they might not know how to create a budget, but they need to learn to bring people in to create a budget, right? And help them. And they need to honor that budget and look at it and discuss with people that know how to read it better monthly, regularly, because when you're intentionally focused on that budget, again, it's where your focus flows, your energy goes. Your numbers are guaranteed to get better, just like your body, just like your relationships, just like your faith, whatever it is that intentional focus. So do you have kind of a program you run leaders through?
Yes. I mean, basically I've online and in-person events, but for everybody that I work with, we start off with habit building. And, the best way to systemize your fitness is to build the right habits. You want to be able to treat your fitness like you do brushing your teeth. You don't have to think about it. You just want to do, right? And so that's the secret weapon, I think, when it comes to high performance and when it comes to getting stuff done. It's installing the right habits in your life. So with every single person that I work with, we get deep into their personal and professional habits. So first, it's build the best you. We need to work on your wake up time, what you're going to be putting in your mouth. We need to work on your workout routine. And we need to work on your personal and professional development, reading good stuff, studying yourself, journaling, reflecting, building the best you every day. And then once we get that, the weight starts coming off. You start getting in shape, your energy goes up. And now we're going to go over to the company. And then the company needs a structure too. So I'm big into systems. Like I said, habits are a system, really.
Yeah.
And when you build the right habits into your body and into your day, you're actually setting yourself on a growth track, right? So we want to do the same thing in the business. It's kind of crazy how many entrepreneurs are out there that don't really have a structure that they follow in their business. They're kind of just putting out fires all the time, right? So like you said, one of the things I picked up as a commander was just to lay out a weekly battle rhythm that installs the right structure in your daily, in your business ops, that puts you on the track to solve the problems that you're facing. So in other words, we used to have a few key meetings as a company, right? We'd have the Monday kickoff, which most entrepreneurs actually don't have a lot of. It's surprising how many don't have a lot of like structure to their actual meetings. They just go into them and it's just shooting from the hip, talking about whatever. So the whole point is that, you can't really get in shape without a detailed macro plan, and you can't really grow your company without a detailed structure to grow the company. So Monday morning kickoff meetings, and then leader syncs all the way throughout the week. And then you got to have a meeting throughout the either Wednesday or Thursday where you're diving into the details and mechanics of your company and almost like pulling the hood up of your car and inspecting it, right? And finances is part of that. So I would say for every leader that's out there, if you don't have a structure for your life and you don't have a structure for your business, like your operating system, right? You got to start working on that stuff in order to get things streamlined and really make sure that it grows.
Yeah, systems and processes are key, and it's interesting, especially with small businesses. You mentioned you're in the details and the weeds and everything within the business. You have no flow, no structure. It's interesting how you can flow through different stages in that cycle, right? For instance, we're going through one now. I am personally, where we built something up, going well, moved kind of away from it, not in it, more on it.
Yeah.
Then added another revenue stream, another service vertical that we were going to. So I'm building that out. So I'm in the trenches, building that out, systems, processes, everything. And I'm doing a lot of the work, right? I am in that season. Hopefully by the end of the year, I am working myself out of that in phase and more on the on phase.
Yeah, you're installing a system into it. Yeah.
Right. But so many times, and I see it all the time, business owners, 50, 60, 70 years old, sometimes want to get out of business and they want to sell. Oftentimes their multiple is a lot less because they are the business.
Yeah.
They are the ones that take the risk away, right? Their business is built around them. So that's a key element. So when I say real CFO, it's like, as business owners, we are the real CEO, real CFO of our business. We have to recognize those things and kind of push them down and build the business around other people and systems and processes, just like you said.
Yeah. Zig Ziglar said it. He said, you build the people and the people build the business.
Yeah. Yeah. So you brought up meetings, which I think meeting cadence is good. I used to be that guy. We just, hey, we're having a meeting.
Right.
Let's talk. So now we're not perfect, man, because I talk too much. But there's always thoughts and ideas. But every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, we have a meeting at 9. Well, it's 10:30 Central Time now. With our team, it's called a stand-up meeting. I think it's part of Lean Sigma, but it's, what did you commit to yesterday? What did you do? And what are you doing today? What obstacles are you running into? Where are you stuck? That's it. We have about 5 or 6 people in that meeting, depending on the day, maybe more, maybe less. It takes 15 minutes. Unless there's something bigger. And then every Tuesday we have kind of an hour-long project-based meeting with the project leaders and what projects are on the table, what's going. What do you recommend, some sort of cadence, or just find one that works for you?
Well, yeah, I would say a couple of, it kind of depends on the business, but I would say the main meetings that I had as an infantry commander that I think are universal to every business are your stand-up meetings. Ours were at 6 a.m. So that was our stand-up. We'd go in, check in with the boss, or my guys would check in with me. And that's a quick like leader huddle. So every single day there should be a stand-up, just like you're talking about. There should also be a longer meeting on Monday, that same time. You can do a longer meeting for the whole week. All right. So Monday morning, 30-minute meeting. And then every other day, After that, it's 15 minutes. And then, obviously we do morning PT at 6:30. That's what we did in the military. So I actually encourage entrepreneurs, to train your people. One of the best things that you can do is workouts together. So if you're the CEO of your business, you should have a second in charge that you're either building up or that you're leaning on, somebody that's close to you. And I always have them, it doesn't have to be every single day, but you should be working out with that person on a regular basis. And it's a great way to kill two birds with one stone and hold yourself accountable to fitness. A lot of stuff gets done during that workout session. So, morning stand-ups, morning PT, and then the next meeting is like a training meeting on Thursday. A training meeting is where you basically, you're basically going to review the main tasks that your company needs to get done in the month and the quarter that you're in. And if it's just you just review that for yourself. If you have a team, your team is pushing up those tasks to you or telling you what they got done. Okay. So you can go review finance, you can review your calendar, you can review projects that are upcoming. And then the final thing is just a leader closeout at the end of the week. This is actually an area where a lot of people miss. Typically, what I've seen is the business owner between 6 and 7 figures will have like maybe a couple of touch points throughout the week. And they're kind of in that hustle mode. So they're so used to just answering the phone and getting stuff done, but their team needs some structure to actually push their reports to them. So they're not just piecemealing it all the time. Right. So a Friday closeout at like 3 p.m. or noon, where your team is either going to email you what they got done for the week, or you're going to have a face-to-face quick chat. Hey, just come into the office, just leaders, tell us what you got done so you'd have the weekend. Those are like really simple meetings, a meeting cadence that anybody could have. But the main takeaway would be to every individual, every leader that's listening to this, we had a term called a battle rhythm. So a battle rhythm is like the rhythm in which you run your business, the rhythm in which you do your life. You need to have a battle rhythm for your work, which is key times that you're going to hit every single week. And then in the month, you have a battle rhythm as well. What are our key meetings that we need to do monthly? But then as an individual, same thing. You need to have a battle rhythm for your personal life. This can include with your wife. This could include for your fitness. This could include for fun and recreation. Yeah. Build that structure so that you can, every single month, it's predictable and you can become more and more efficient at growing those areas of your life.
No, I love that. And, something I think I might start doing is a little bit of fitness with some of the key players on the team and do just that. I guess I've been a little selfish in the mornings when I go out at 5 or 5:30, whenever it is, and do a workout or a ruck or a walk. Been mostly rucks and walks lately because I had a couple injuries in late February that I had to let heal, but I've been kind of selfish with that time because that's kind of my zero in, dial in, plan, for the day time. But I could see mixing in a couple of days with key people, and while my days by myself are productive in my life and my cycle and what we do, I think that it builds a culture, but you're still accomplishing.
Yeah, for you starting off, just
strategic stuff.
For you just starting off, just doing one team PT session a week could have so much value in your company and with your team. Hey, do sports PT even. You could get out there. When I was in Iraq at 20 years old, we used to play ultimate frisbee out there, and I was just running around in Iraq on the dirt out there. But just, I always had this mentality as a commander that I was going to do one workout for me and I was going to do one workout for the team. And it was about leadership. So, obviously all of our schedules are different. So just starting out, just focus on creating that routine, creating that battle rhythm for yourself and your team, include fitness inside of it. And it's the quickest, easiest thing that any entrepreneur can do to develop their people and build that morale and that culture.
Yeah. So just to tie this into finance, and you've alluded to it a few times, discipline is one, intentional focus in the areas that you want to improve in. 2, and fitness is kind of a foundation of all of it, right? Because if you're dialed in there, one, you're setting a good example, right, for your team. You're showing people what being disciplined is, and who's gonna, it's gonna lift others up. So the same, like I keep bringing back, goes for your fitness. So if you're not doing that as a business owner, you're not dialed into everything. You're kind of all over and scattered. Your finances are going to be messed up. So if you get dialed in on fitness and all these other things and get extreme discipline, everything's going to get better.
Yeah, and you'll change. It's the best way to reinvent yourself and change your identity too. So like I'll work with business owners sometimes that their business will outgrow their self-image. You ever meet somebody like that, or maybe you've been in that spot where you felt too small to run the company? You didn't feel you were the right leader for the company. Well, one great way to transform yourself into that CEO, to that person that can actually feel like they can walk in like I did as a commander and be like, okay, I'm in charge. I'm confident that I can actually run this thing, is you put your fitness first, you transform you, and you change how you see yourself. You start seeing yourself as a disciplined person. Discipline becomes your identity. You start seeing yourself as that leader. And I always tell guys that if you go through these slumps where you fitness falls off, just go get yourself a six-pack. Transform. Just that simple goal will change your entire belief system about yourself and catapult you to the next level, you know?
No, that's good advice. That's good. What's next for you? I mean, just more training, more online stuff. I mean, are you working on anything exciting now that people are going to need to jump on, take advantage of?
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing. I have this command experience that I've been working on. So over the years, I've done a lot of. When I started my business, I was on active duty and I did a lot of virtual coaching.
Okay.
So I was a commander during the day, and I was an executive coach at night and the weekends. Well, over the years, I started doing events, and I was doing team events. So people would come to my events, and we'd do 2.5 days tactical shooting, self-defense training, and I would actually teach them how to plan missions as a commander, and then disseminate that plan to their team so the team could go execute. So I've been doing events like that over the years. But this last 6 months, I've noticed that the coaching industry is kind of changing. You know, a lot of people are, I think people are just craving that in-person experience. So one of the things that I've done over the years is in-person training with CEOs. And I'm leaning more, I've got a couple of guys lined up. I've got 2 for the month of June that I'm taking through a full transformation. And this is the command experience. So they come to me. These are guys that small business owners, they're overweight. They don't feel like they have that energy that they used to have. They feel like they're stagnant in their business. And so what we're doing is we're getting 6-packs in the next 62 days. I'm going to teach them tactical shooting. One second. I'm going to be basically, I'm going to take them through this like in-person and online training where they're going to come out like John Wick. All right. So it's going to be shooting guns, 6-packs, confidence. And then I'm also going to help them with their businesses at the back end. So I'll be doing a handful of those guys throughout the back end of 2025. And I'm really excited about that.
No, that sounds awesome. I mean, when you're meeting somebody, kind of onboarding someone into your system, your program, are you looking at their personal and business operations, finance, sales, fitness, relationships, faith, all of it?
Yeah. So when I work with a guy or a girl, I have everybody build out four goals. I call them your big 4. Mm-hmm. I think when you have more than 4 goals that you're working on at a time, you fall short. If you don't have 4, then you're missing something in life. So what I do is if somebody's coming to work with me, it's kind of like popping the hood up of your car. I'm going to get underneath. I'm going to look at how you're doing in your personal and professional life. And then we're going to create a vision for how we want to see that improve. And then we're going to work together towards that as a group. I'm not going to go into the details, the operations of your business. That's actually beyond my skill set. What I'm good at is getting your team in alignment, getting you in alignment so that the business can grow. And then I'll get you the resources that you need to work on the mechanics of the business. You know, I don't really position myself as a business coach. I'm building the leader and I'm building the team inside of the business.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. It's, for us, one of the things in working with, especially new business owners, there's a lot of stress. Well, and this is existing, but a lot of our clients, most of the clients that come to work with us, they're stressed about something, right? And, stress is reduced by exercise. That's fundamental. But a lot of the stress is induced by uncertainty. And that uncertainty is, how am I going to make next payroll? how am I going to, buy Joy a new pair of Jordans for, third grade basketball, right? All of these uncertain things that what I've come to realize over the years is that a lot of the uncertainty that we create here and that fear is just because we haven't done a good job of actually intentionally focusing on something and doing something and having the knowledge, right, that could give us certainty. I had a conversation this morning with someone. New in business, cash flow is going to be tight here in a couple of months. They got a huge order. They have to front end half of the parts cost, right? They're going to get paid in 120 days. It's going to create cash flow issues. But they don't have a forecast and budget of what they're going to expect in and out over the next 3 to 6 months even, right?
Yeah.
That creates this level of uncertainty, and they're calling me freaking out. Hey, do I need to take a distribution from a 401k? And no, right?
Yeah.
It's like put these pieces in place, and it's not difficult. You can bring yourself in, help them focus on a lot of their uncertainties and confidence.
Yeah, I would say when it comes to dealing with fear and stress, like the military taught me a ton about that. I would say a couple of things. If you're stressed out, one of the leaders, my mentors, he told me this: try to put a person between you and every problem. If you're stressed out, try to put a person between you and every problem. That'll like alleviate your stress a lot. And then for anybody that loves books, go check out Stephen Covey's book. He's got this model where there's 3 spheres of focus. There's the sphere of control, which is the center point right here. Then there's the sphere of influence, which is the outer sphere around it. And then there's the sphere of concern, which is the broader sphere outside of that. When you're not getting anything done, it's because you're focused a lot in the sphere of concern or influence and not enough inside of the sphere of control. So as an operator, as a ranger, as a commander, at any point in my career, the times where I was the most stressed was when I was not focused on my sphere of control. So every single day, that's what we want to focus on. Seneca said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. So a person that is actually like calling you and hitting you up and freaking out, it's because there's actually a mindset problem that they are not disciplining their mind to focus on what they can control today. And by doing so, will relieve the problems of tomorrow. Right. So there's just not a system in place for that person to come out of the fear that they're falling into. And then the last one that could really help somebody out with their mindset is like, if you're thinking about the future or you're thinking about the past, all you're really doing is pissing on the present. Right. So like, just focus on the present, man.
I love it.
It's work.
Say it again. If you're
focused on the future or you're focused on the past, all you're really doing is pissing on the present.
I love it. I'm going to use it. Is that yours or did you steal it too? I'm going to use it.
It could be. I don't recall anybody else saying it. I picked it up somewhere. I don't know.
All right, I'll chat GPT and see if I need to put your name to it or somebody else's. But I love that. That is awesome, man. Well, hey, I mean, this is good stuff. Good information that not only business owners and entrepreneurs need to know, and I know they listen to us more because we're a financial side of things within a business, but in reality, it takes the whole really to make it optimized and work truly efficiently and deliver what, as entrepreneurs and business owners, we ultimately want is freedom, not to be stressed and overworked and overwhelmed and like, why did we fight this battle when we could have just gone and worked for somebody else that was fighting it, right? These are the nuggets, the real stuff that they need to know that I think are more important. You can hire to get the X's and O's done, the I's dotted, the T's crossed, the bookkeeping done, the accounting done, but you need this discipline to succeed. And whether it be financial coaching, leadership coaching, systems process, that's huge. And if you want to have something other than a job that you've created for yourself where you're in it all the time, you're going to have to partner with somebody like Jeremiah or read books, podcasts, follow these folks to really understand it and get dialed in on how to do it. So where can people find you, Jeremiah?
I'm most active on Instagram, guys. So just make sure you get the spelling right, because it's JERAMIAHSOLVEN. There's an A in the middle of Jeremiah. So Jeremiah Solven on Instagram. And you guys just let me know that you came from the podcast here, and I'd love to chat with anybody.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. We'll share the links in the show notes and when we're sharing to get people to connect with you. Definitely take advantage of it, folks. If there's anything we can do for you, or if you have any thing you would like us to hear or answer, or bring somebody on to address, our role is to help optimize the growth and financial well-being of your business. And it's not just done by accounting and bookkeeping. It's done by this holistic approach, discipline, certainty, and an intentional focus on winning. So Jeremiah, we appreciate it, man. It's good stuff. I can't wait to share it with everybody.
Thanks for having me on, Chad. Guys, appreciate you all.
All right. Appreciate it.